know you're swinging, Steve. I know you're snapping your fingers, baby.
And I've got no
It's witchcraft.
How about that, man? A song that is not played enough, by the way, even on satellite. Huh? Am I right or wrong?
You can't play. How could you play witchcraft enough? You cannot, Joe Piscopo. By the way, good morning. You're in a good mood. We agree. By the way,
yes, dear.
We not only do I love you, not only are you and my brother, but we agree on something this morning. It is not the ban at the airports, but it is on Judge Andrew Napolitano. I'm just going to say that.
How about that? How great would that be? Not just because he went to Brookdale Elementary School with yours truly. Not because he's a
New Jersey.
Bloomfield guy. That has nothing to do with that, Steve. You understand it. But
Let's not get too inside right away, but go ahead.
Is there a man more brilliant than Judge Andrew Napolitano that knows the Constitution better than Judge Andrew Napolitano? And, Steve, you know him, and he is a brilliant man. Wouldn't that be wild, though, in the Supreme Court? I would love that.
Let me just say this. It's not even that I agree with the judge on a whole range of issues, because sometimes we do disagree, but he is brilliant. He's a constitutional scholar. He is a man of integrity. I'm just saying. And the fact that his name happens to end in a vowel and he's Irish, it's irrelevant. I'm just saying.
Yes,
now,
right, man.
back to other issues, Mr. Piscopo.
Yes, sir.
So what are we talking about today, sir?
You know, whatever you want. It's like I want on the Trump administration, you know, and everything that's going on. You gotta love, and I know you didn't support Mr. Trump going in, and we respect that, Steve. But when you see all that he's doing, he's done more in the last week and a half than anybody's done in 8 years with all these executive orders. And I know it's because he's got Republican Congress, but you got to give him credit for at least stepping up and really putting his money where his mouth is, Steve. Yes.
So here's what I give him credit for. I give President Trump credit for...
Tough for you to say that, Steve. I know, brother.
No, it's not. In fact, I disagree. I disagree with those who say, quote, he's not my president. I disagree with those who say he's not a, quote, legitimate president. I disagree with all of that.
Yeah.
He is our president. He's my president. Didn't support him. Disagree with him on a whole range of things. But I have problems with those who try to delegitimize him. Fight him, argue with him, but he's our president. Beyond that, here's the thing.
Yeah.
He is keeping his word. He's doing what he said he would do, which scares many. Here's my concern, and I told Frank this offline. I'll share it with you. I'm about to write an article about the fact that the president needs to, his administration needs to, my good friend, whom I love, Kellyanne Conway, who's one of the smartest communicators out there.
Yes.
Steve Bannon needs to remember this as well. Stay focused. I call it staying within the goalpost, meaning you're out there, you want to talk about your policies? Talk about your policies. Do not get, as my wife calls it, Jennifer calls it, being a sidetrack Sally. Do not talk about the size of the crowd on the inauguration day. Do not get into an unnecessary fight with the media by saying they're, quote, our enemy as, or the opposition party, if you will, as Bannon said. Do not get in unnecessary fights, because even if they do hate you, even if they do play got you, may be true.
Yeah.
Probably true in some cases.
Yeah.
It's an unnecessary fight. Stay on the issue, stay focused, stay on the policy, stay within, as I say, the goalpost. Because as soon as you say that one thing, that other thing is the thing that the media will focus on. And then you have no right to say, why are they focusing on that one thing? Because you brought it up, nobody else.
Yeah, it's a good point. Do you think the press is using President Trump as a villain in order to sell newspapers, Stephen?
Joe, come on. The media has been and always will focus on not that the dog bit the man, but the man bit the dog. Meaning, it is the unusual statement. It is the unusual incident. It is the president who makes news. Listen, Donald Trump was the unusual candidate. He was the unnatural candidate. He was the candidate that was the most interesting, the most fascinating. So when he does that, when he tweets off the cuff and says things that are outrageous, the problem is he's not a candidate anymore, and it's not very often on the policy. So here's my argument. I don't know if Chuck Schumer was faking or not when he was crying. The reality is he's the Democratic leader. I would argue that as the president, Trump can still be dynamic and charismatic and whatever else he needs to be. But don't mock him, because I don't know if he was real or not, because he's got to deal with Schumer.
Yeah,
I don't think it's disciplined enough. I still think Trump can be tough and strong, even if I disagree with him. He doesn't have to be so outrageous all the time, Joe. And you wouldn't do that if you were governor of New Jersey, and you know it.
Yeah. Your point is well taken. Steve Adubato, PBS anchor, author of the new book, Lessons in Leadership. Steve is in much demand. Corporations across these fine United States doing incredible guest speaking roles he does at our business breakfasts. So we have one coming up, don't we, Stephen, pretty soon?
We have one coming up, absolutely. And people come to it to learn important business.
You're great at that. Steve, you're great at that on stage. I love watching you on stage. When I'm not on the radio, we do sneak a peek and see the great Steve Adubato on stage.
But more importantly, we bring in great business leaders that our leader, Jerry Crowley, brings together, that people are big supporters of AM970, the Salem business community, Salem media community. We bring those leaders in, we get the lessons that they have as entrepreneurs, and we share them with others. It's great. It's the Salem Business Breakfast. It's the best.
Hey, Steve, so what would you suggest to both Sean Spicer and the Washington Press Corps about how to improve the relationship they have with one another, my friend?
Well, first of all, the media, many in the media playing it straight. Many constantly playing gotcha. More so, I would argue, with Trump than they did with Obama. Gave Obama a pass more than most, all right? But here's the deal. Spicer knows that. He's not a stupid guy. He's a smart guy. Don't take the bait. Don't put the bait out there. Don't argue unnecessarily. If you get a tough or nasty question, engage for a moment, then move back to the issue at hand. Don't get in an unnecessary fight. I'll tell you why, Joe, because it is that out-of-control moment, that loss of, when you get angry, that they'll focus on that soundbite, and they'll say, look, the Trump administration is out of control. Sean Spicer's got to get it together because it's going to be a long 4 years.
Yeah, Steve Adubato. Hey, Steve, the governor's race in Jersey, man. You and I, we are due for a sit-down. Me, you, and Nikki, we got to sit down. We really got to do that sit-down. But what are you thinking? How's it unfolding? It's quiet now in the governor's race.
Sorry for interrupting, Joe. I got to tell you, I'm about to sit down with, we're starting a brand new series on public broadcasting called State of Affairs. It's replacing a show I did called Capitol Report, my colleague Raphael Piron for about 20 years. State of Affairs is starting on March 1st. It interviews the newsmakers, some of whom want to be governor. Phil Murphy, Ambassador Phil Murphy, one of the first candidates, Lieutenant Kim Guardano. And if, in fact, a very prominent, a very popular radio host in the morning with the best, most dynamic radio show decides that he wants to enter the fray, he will be the guest that brings me the best ratings on PBS that I've ever had, if he chooses to do that. If not, he will continue to bring joy and happiness to millions on the radio. Either way, he can't lose. And
God bless you, my young friend. Steven, listen, by the way, people call, like already I had a request. I go through Frankie Five Boroughs, and they want to go on TV. You're number one. You're first and foremost. So, and you know you have that. So I just want you, if you see me, I would. In a second, without question.
Let me tell you something. Neil Cavuto, my great friend over there at Fox News, Fox Business, and you were the man over there. You're going on with Cavuto. And either way, it's going to be a guy who wins in a bout. Either way, you're going with Cavuto out of
Did you see? They always go. I was at Fox with Friends this weekend, and Ed Henry goes, "Joe, you're going to announce?" I go, "Wait, I'm not going to go against the Godfather Cavuto." I said, "Wait a minute," because I said I'll save it for Neil. But you'll see me on some shows, just so you know. I'm saying on these 50,000 watts, Steve Adubato, you call, I come running. You're number one. All right,
I noticed. By the way, I noticed you're plugging Judge Jeanine, whom I love. Everyone was on Fox. But by the way, I was on MSNBC last weekend. Which
what is that? And MSNBC is what? Is what again?
I noticed that you didn't plug that. Do you actually think that MSNBC broadcasts from Russia at this point? Is that why you guys don't plug it anymore?
We don't know.
I noticed nobody plugged it on the station.
I have it. The joke is this: I have a young assistant that helps me.
I heard all about her. I heard she's the best.
She's great, but every time, listen to me. I have Fox News on 24/7 because that's what I go for. Fox News. Now I'll check CNN out. Our buddy Brooke Baldwin, our mutual friends over there, CNN. You know,
Chris Cuomo's my friend.
Anderson. Yeah, and they do a great job. But then when I step out of the room for a millisecond, Steve,
puts it on.
MSNBC is on.
Got great people there. I love them there. You know why I love them? Because they have me on.
That's right.
You know what? When I have Fox and Friends, Brian Kilmeade, you know why I love them?
Good
Because
to
they
have
have
you
me
on.
on.
You were great. Steve Adubato, PBS anchor. Check out this new book, Lessons in Leadership. And really, if you're a corporate head, Steve is so busy. But
Hire
man,
me.
you got to see Steve in person talking through companies. I love when you do that, Steve. You're at the top of your game, brother, and we appreciate that.
And
my
I need
friend.
the cash.
Dude, what, you and me with the kids? Oh, my Lord. It's all
We
good.
got kids. We got a dog. Our dog. By the way, one guess. I'll let you go. Our dog, 4 months old, our puppy. What's his name?
Oh, the dog's name. I don't know. What is his name? Go ahead.
Vinny. No lie. His name is Vinny, and he answers to it. Vinny
That's great.
Adubato.
That's great. I love it. Steve, we
Vinny
love you.
Adubato.
Love to your parents, Steve, and to your family.
Love you
We'll talk to
guys. Take care.
Love you too, Steve Adubato.